Hello and welcome to Wikidata, Wikipedia Weekly Network, here where Albin Larsson and I, Jan Ainali, are editing Wikidata Live. How are you doing, Albin?
I'm doing great. I had a really lovely day today, and it's starting to pop up a bit of greenery around, and has been a long wait for it. How are you, Jan?
I'm doing well. We have a little bit of test today. We're doing Telegram, and right now I'm a bit confused because I get both sounds in my headphones. So, yes, I managed to mute the other one. No, I didn't. That was not the mute. All right. Oh, the tricky one. Let's see. Do I have pulse audio here? Oh, let's see if I can turn that down. It looks like it's off, but it's not. This is unusable for me, I guess. Let's see. Is there a mute button in this chat? Video unmute. You're live. No, that's double. Can I leave it? Right. I left the video chat in StreamYard, but I still hear it. Driving me insane. Sorry, everybody, for this test. Okay, I had to end it because we cannot stream when I hear myself 5 seconds later. I have to figure that out with some more testing later.
Right. Yeah, it seemed odd. I tried to join the experiment as well, and I heard an odd voice just.
Yes, but do I have even?
It would be nice to have a Wikipedia Weekly live editing mug.
Oh,
As someone will always bring a mug to this editing, I completely agree. That's a great idea, actually.
yes, and now I think I got it on again, so it might be going into the Telegram group as well. Well, either way, today we're doing some patrolling, I guess.
Indeed.
And what parts of patrolling will you take a look at?
I will do very much generic patrolling, but I will show a way to do it like in your local language. Because something I found when I got started with patrolling on Wikidata compared to like on Swedish Wikipedia is that all of a sudden there was a lot of edits which needed patrolling that were in like Spanish and French and languages I do not understand, where it's really hard for me to do the patrolling because I do not understand the content. So I'm gonna show how to do patrolling for a specific language. So you can actually just patrol things that are in a language you know.
Right. And I'm going to take a sort of the stance of classical looking at what changes and sort of watch that and then see what you will do with what you see. So, and there are some different things that you can use. So I'm going to start showing you here my favorite, not favorite tool perhaps, but one of my tools that I really like. Do you see my screen now? Very strange. Let me remove that. No luck today with things. Doing some Uh-huh.
It doesn't show up in the admin
No.
UI here.
No. And when I try to share it now, it doesn't even find the window. Ah!
Oh.
So something might be breaking here when I try to do a lot of stuff. So let me see if I share. This one now. All right, there we go. I think.
Indeed.
Yes. So let's head to Wikidata. Let's go to main page first. And the thing I wanted to show was template Wikidata list, which is something really special. It's not your generic template. So let's see if we can find it here. It's always a little bit tricky to find things that are not in your main namespace, but I think I have some script that shows things in blue underneath that are local on Wikidata. So I can click this one. Takes you to a template which sort of, as an argument, takes some sort of Spark query, and then it creates a table out of it. And this is very useful because it makes it possible to get a lot of different values, but only a specific kinds of values that you want to take for a lot of items. Perhaps you don't want to see all the changes that are happening on something, but you only are in your wiki project or what you're looking for some certain kinds, and then you can specify it here with the columns. So let me show you a practical example of this, what you can do. If it allows me to start a new tab. Yes, there we go. So we use this in wiki projects all over Wikipedia, I guess, or Wikidata, I guess, but also on local Wikipedias. So we have here watch lists as a tool. We have a category with different watch lists. And let me check. I know there has been some recent updates on the Denmark municipalities. So what we have done here is that we have created this list with a few, watching like a few labels and some properties. And then if I add this page to my watch list, I will see the edits getting done here, and I can just see if does this make sense or not. Is this vandalism, or is this really good edits? Someone's adding good values, or are someone removing something as well? And now this hasn't been updated in a while. I know there's sometimes a little bit intermittent with how the bot runs, but now I know there's a few recent edits as well. So we always have the button here, manual update list. So let's try that one. And see if the bot will be running. As you can see, it loads something up here. So it will be, yes, here we got something. Done, last line, edited, and return to. And now, of course, you can always go to the view history, but the main point of this is that you shouldn't need to go to the specific history point. Instead, hopefully this will now show in my watch list because I watched this page. So let's go to the watch list and see what we have here. And this should perhaps be the latest change in my watch list. You never know. There's lots of stuff going on. Yes, there are lots of stuff going on. Someone edits some road in Visby meanwhile. But we can see here, oh, there was a lot of changes. So it was a lot of things has happened. So we can watch the diff, as you always can. But this one is specifically good to see what's happening like this. Here, someone added the Facebook page for a municipality. And this one looks like it could be the correct one. So that looks good. More Facebook pages. People have been working here, adding them. Only adding as well, no removal so far. So this is a way that you can see, and here the diff thing has a little trouble figuring out. So this is an easy way to sort of like, I don't need to watch the entire municipality item. I can select which things, aspects of this, and you can set up your Listeria, your template, Wikidata list, whatever you like. And you can run it on Wikidata, or you can have it on your local project as well. I think most projects have this locally. At least I know a number of projects on Swedish Wikipedia that are running this and watching for changes. And they have set it up so that it's actually looking for values that are used in the articles, in the info boxes. So it's easier to actually see what's going on. Because watching Wikidata changes on your local Wikipedia is a little bit hard. So let me just scroll through this and see what we have. See if we catch something. Here's a change, cleaning up the, all right. Oh, and we have some new classes here as well. All right, that might actually be an error.
Indeed. It seems to be a more specific instance of.
Yes, but also 98 to 99, it should only be 98. They do not have a new one.
Indeed.
So that's something to look into. I'm not going to look into that right now because I think that's a little bit too tricky. It's not plain vandalism or something like that. It could also be my query that's not good enough, catching something else. So instead, I'm going back here to the watch list because there's a lot of things that you can do with it that can be really helpful. Like, obviously, the watch list is sort of the main tool to keep track of things that you're interested in. So you have this, but you also have, and if it loads here now, I have 3 buttons running very slowly, or 3 dots. There we come. You can set different filters here. And as you can see, I already have a few ones that I want to see. And I have some that I want to have colored. And you can specify this whatever you like. So this might be good to style, and you can save, and you can also have different filters saved if you have different kind of tasks, if your watch list is very large. So that's filters you can save. But the nice thing with this is that these filters are also available on the recent changes. So if you want to do some more generic patrolling, like watching the recent changes, they're also available there. So let's head over to the recent changes. You always have it here in the left side of the menu. And we'll have to load over here as well. And here you see all the changes that are going on Wikidata. And this is quite the fire hose usually. So there's a button here for live updates, but if you do it, click this on, sometimes you will just see things, you don't have time to react to actually click something because it will move out of the way. So I usually use the manual update here. On Swedish Wikipedia, you get by with the live update because it's not that quick.
Indeed.
And I do have filters here. Yeah.
It depends also. If you combine it with a filter, you can often use the live update.
Yes.
If you're just looking for a couple of specific things.
Yeah. And as we can see here, I'm looking at all human edits, page creations, and logged actions. I think we can remove the logged actions. We're not going to use that one for now. And then I color things that are likely to have problems or very likely to have problems. And let's just scroll by here, see if we see anything in color. We have one here. And this one seems to be like a page got deleted, automatic update. So these tags are very useful. We have a lot of different ways of getting these tags. Some are automated triggered by things or programs or software applications that add these, and some are from our abuse filters. And we're going to take a little bit more look at the abuse filters. We see here tags for quick statements and such. Created claim conflict. So let's head over here. And this is kind of new, I think, the way it's shown now. You always, or for a long time, had the possibility to filter, but we have some nice things now. So if you scroll all the way down in this list, and there are actually a lot of interesting things already here in this list. Like you can say, hey, I only want to see unregistered things because they are more likely, or newcomers, or more likely to make mistakes accidentally, or not knowing what to do. And yeah, so those can be useful. And then here in the bottom, scroll all the way down, there's this tagged edits. I think this is a little bit too anonymous because this is a very useful thing. So I click this one and I will get a new second layer of drop down here, or menu to choose from. And these are all the tags that are available. And if you click one of these, it will filter the recent changes list. So you will only look for things that have been tagged with this. Some are not very useful for patrolling that we're doing today, because they might be better for searching for bugs or specific errors that happened, or if you're just curious in some statistics. But there are some that are really good for, and I'm gonna see. I'm gonna look for newcomer something, and let's see what we have. Here we go. So we have 3 really good ones here. New editor changing statement, new editor removing a site link, new editor removing statement. All of these exist for a reason because it's either a mistake often, or it's pure vandalism. So let's take a look first at the new editor changing statement here. Let's see if we can find anything. And also here's some sort of like with always when you do patrolling on the wikis, there's a chance that you will see obscenities and hateful stuff and stuff like that. So here's a little content warning, because I have not vetted these beforehand. This is live from just a few minutes ago that we're going to see underneath here. So let's see, can this one disappear in some way?
If you just click outside, then it should disappear.
It was slow. All right.
Right.
So here we get, and the colors now is from the previous, likely to have problems. And we can see it's someone who's not logged in changing a claim. These seem like they could be, the 2 first seems like they could be good, but the third one, it looks like a name, and it changed the instance off to extraterrestrial. That seems like high probability someone is vandalizing this item of a human. So let's check the diff. Yes, someone is making fun out of this Tibetan king, saying he was an extraterrestrial. And of course, we can't have that. So we're going to make just undo here. Let's just go for the automatic one. This is so obviously.
Yeah. When there are like IP addresses doing random stuff, one can
Yes.
easily.
Let's see if we can find. Yeah, here this is, as you can see, exists for a reason, this filter. Someone thinks Harry Maguire is a donkey. No. That's not correct. He's a football player. So let's undo that one as well. Oh, there was a newer edit there. Let's see, did someone already undo it? Is someone sniping me here? Yes. All right. Another IP number, very curiously. All right. So here's sort of a feature request I found out that I want. So we have in the filters here. Let's see if I can scroll down. That's in the tag. So we have a tag here. And let's see if we can see it so I can explain. There we go. And now, is it on R? Yes. So we do have a way to see things that have been reverted already. I would like to have
The opposite.
the negative.
Yeah.
Like I want to see everything that is not reverted. But for help, we can say, well, give those that have been reverted green. So I don't need to look at them. Now, this one was probably even after. So it hadn't had time to update it or get the tag reverted yet. And my computer is curiously slow. There we go. And what else do we have? I'm just going to do some few things more to see if we can see something. Here, this one also say possible vandalism. Let's check this one out. I think this one was actually fixing something that was wrong. If it's a grandmother, that's probably female. So the previous was probably something. All right. Thank you. Artificial satellite subclass of chicken. That seems unlikely. Let's see. No, it's not the chicken. So let's undo this one as well. And yeah, you sort of get the gist here. There's a lot of you'll find a lot of vandalism this way. We have another one here. This obviously is human, have been changed to something else than a human. I don't leave. Oh, this one might be in good faith, since I see from the pop-up I get that it is actually a municipality. So he might be from the municipality, but it's still wrong. So we're going to undo that as well. And then I'm going to show a few other things that you can look for. All right. So let's head back here into the filters. And let's remove the thing that we have and go for something else. So I really like the tagged edits. I also use these on Wikipedia as well to find things to check. Oh, and here we have a request. Yes, show markers patrolled. We don't have that many people who are actually patrolling. Now, in these cases, I didn't patrol it because I just undid it. And I guess my things are auto-patrolled because I'm made so many things. But let's see if we can have something that we can deem, oh, this was correct, and patrol it. So let's see. Here. What could be good? For patrolled. So you see you have a button already here, mark as patrolled. I usually don't patrol from here. I want to look at them to get the context, unless I'm very sure about the topic. So it's more useful in the perhaps in the watch list than here, because here I get all sorts of items that I have no idea what it is. So this one might be a good. So let's take a look at this one. No, it wasn't good. So probably a good faith edit, like they added stated in human for the instance of human as a reference. It's not how we do it on Wikidata, of course. This should be an actual reference, and we often don't even need to have a reference for that someone is a human. That sort of
implied.
Yeah, for many things. So we'll just undo this one as well, even though it might have been in good faith. See if I can get another one then. This one might be a good one. Okay. And there's a newer edit for that. Someone editing a lot. So we can check this one in. Then someone added a reference for the date of birth. So let's check that reference. And what was the 11th of March, 1985? This does not seem to be about that at all.
Is it link spam?
What is this item? Oh, it is about Christina. Let's see all languages there. And this one was Christina. So it's the right person. But I don't see any dates here.
No.
Is it here and I can't just understand how to see it? Because I don't know. Check. Uh, I I'm inclined to remove this one as well.
Yeah, I mean,
Because
it could still be like stated in some kind of database that's behind that website, but it's not the reference URL.
no. So let's undo it.
But maybe here write the description of why.
Yes. Couldn't find this statement supported in the reference. So someone will know why I did it. Aha. Here's also a very good point. Usually when we find something that looks strange, it might be good to look what else that person did, because you might find a whole nest of things that are sort of just confused or something like that.
Indeed. And also, you look at the same item, because
Yeah.
when we see a diff, but on Wikidata, it's usually
Yes.
split in a lot of them.
Yeah. So we
So
can
great to check the
yeah.
whole history.
So we can see here there's 7 edits from this person. So I'll both take a look at all of these edits, but also the edit history of this person. But now I'm getting into a lot of rabbit holes here, so I'll hand it over to you.
Right. And I used to patrol like the same way, especially on like Swedish Wikipedia or Norwegian Wikipedia, where I could easily understand the content of like most edits. But on Wikidata, I've had a hard time with that because a lot of edits in languages or around concepts I do not understand. But then someone pointed me to this tool, uh, the Wikidata Patrol dashboard, and this is great. So I usually go under, let's see here, under filters, and this menu is a little tricky, but terms by language. And here I can actually see just unpatrolled things that have a change related to just labels or descriptions and such. And to me, this is very useful because these ones are usually the easiest for people to vandalize, so to say. The concept with statements are not always apparent. So this one is great. And then I usually go straight to Swedish here. So, and I should press T when I want Swedish. There we go. And I click select. And it just shows me a bunch of patrol, unpatrolled things. So I can see an IP address here as edited item, and it edit description, aliases, and label. That's interesting if everything needed a change. So I'm gonna click and get the diff straight, and I can just see that none of this information existed for Swedish, but someone added a bunch of it, and it's this one is tricky. Let's see. It's Nicktoons European Children TV channel. And here it says like the Swedish label is Nicktoons Scandinavia, which is also in English and not in Swedish. But the description might be okay. And it's known like for just about everything here. Arabia, like this is no longer just Europe. So let's see. Okay, so this is about the entire channel, but then it's like each individual. So I guess this is a channel with like localized channels, which is interesting in itself because it should probably be split into multiple items. And this is a YouTube playlist ID, and I think the same IP has been around here. Yes, it's the same. I'm wondering what the history looks like here, like that tip we just got. And I can see that there's been a lot of IP edits from this user. Actually, everything seems to be about from this user. And it just continues actually down to this IP, which was the one I was looking at. So since then, there has been a ton of edits by just another user. Um, and it continues with IP edits here. Um, will this continue? This was interesting. I wonder if I just entered a rabbit hole. Just IP edits. Here we got a bot, okay. And then what was this created as? That's always interesting. So if I go to like where does the IP edit starts? They start here, so I'm gonna have a look there. Then it says Nicketoons Central and Eastern Europe. It had that limit. If I look at like the Wikipedias, it was limited to that. And let's see today's item in its entirely. So it used a lot of things. However, Wikipedia looks the same. I would kind of want to flag this for someone else to look at, as it's might need a bit of expertise on the subject. TV is absolutely not my expertise, and I'm looking here like on country. I see Scandinavia, Latin America, Nordic countries, which are just things that are plainly wrong. But it seems to maybe be good faith. So I'm gonna leave that. I don't want to mark the edit as patrol because it isn't really, because I'm unsure what to do.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna leave that for someone else. I'm instead gonna have a look at the next one here. And it's just a label being copied. And currently this is how we do things in, this is just a name. This is how we do things in Wikidata currently, because we don't have something for like multilingual, which I think they're working on. So this looks good. It's how we do things. And I'm gonna click here, mark as patrolled, because now I have marked it here. So if someone would go here, it wouldn't show up here. Or if someone would use the recent changes and look for things that aren't patrolled, it wouldn't show up because someone has already been looking at this. And I'm gonna head straight over to the next one. And this mark as patrolled button, you can have it in a lot of places. And I think when it's used in list or recent changes as such, it actually goes for gadget. So if one goes to the preferences and under gadgets, there is mark as patrolled, adds a mark as patrolled link to change list items, and so on. So that one is probably good to have when one want to do this kind of thing. And let's see here. We got another like name addition, which is just copy paste, and it adds an alias. It's good. It has been marked as patrolled. And moving on, this is again by the same IPs, an entire bunch of them. So I'm assuming actually they are all similar. I'm gonna open them. This is a description. It's completely correct. And let's see here. We got the label, completely correct. And let's see. this is an architect, and let's just copy the name. That's completely okay as well. Let's see. And one thing I have a little bit more trouble with in this tool is that I can't see like which one I have visited. It doesn't like show me that on the link here or something. But other than that, I really enjoy this tool. Let's see. We have another IP here. Let's open that one's edits. They got two. They are editing about this plant, Jung in Swedish, and it's also known as Jung. I haven't heard that personally. But why do we not have a Swedish article? We should have a Swedish article about this one. So I was trying to see, because if it's really known as something else, it should be on the Swedish Wikipedia. But we don't even have a link there here, which is very odd because we should have an article about this on the Swedish Wikipedia.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna
Not very
leave.
genius, yeah.
I'm gonna leave that. Again, I could probably look it up and such, but it would be going down a rabbit hole. And here's actually the label for this being added, which makes me a little bit suspicious if this is actually the one we have in Sweden, maybe, or if this is a different one. I see also this is the genus and not the species, so I'm not gonna mark those as patrolled. I might leave it for later and look into it. I'm gonna head straight on to this long IP addresses, which are like a new version of IP, used to mix it up here. Oh, so this is interesting. We got a Swedish label for type of legal entity in Finland. Limited partnership is the English label. Okay. And from the English label, I wouldn't be able to say that this is indeed correct. But I know enough Finnish to understand that this Finnish label, because I know this last part of it is like company, and this first part look very similar to the Swedish part. So I'm gonna be pretty sure that this is indeed a type of legal entity, and the Swedish label looks very much correct. So I'm gonna mark that one as patrolled. I think we got a couple of more ones from the same editor. Insurance oh, I opened the same one twice, I think. I'm gonna open a couple of ones at random here. I'm not very much not doing this too systematically today. So this is again one of those cases where the English label does not exactly match the Swedish label. But I imagine it could maybe match the Finnish label. It very much seems to match the Finnish label. But I want to see if like I only see the Swedish changes, so I wonder if this item is actually created by like the same person, and if there's actually an IP creating all of these items. It seems like it is, which is very odd for an IP address to do. Start adding types of legal entities like this systematically, rather than doing it signed in. Which is completely fine, but it's surprising. I'm gonna open up this identifier just to see if we get a hint here. Legal form. Okay, so this is a database of companies with that legal form, and I can see because this is, for example, is a company in Finland with a completely Swedish name, and it matches the type here. It says insurance, and this is about insurance companies. So yeah, this one seems to be completely okay. We also already got like an external identifier, so yeah, someone just not being logged in but still productive. Here's another thing, and maybe someone in the chat knows. Is there a way then for me, because I know that this IP address is doing systematically good work on all of these
Mm-hmm.
items, is there a way for me to say, hey, all of these edits by this IP address in between like this and this time are good and mark them as patrolled? That's a feature I would
Mm.
think would be great, because very often I find people or a new editor from Swedish Wikipedia who are like adding descriptions and they're doing it systematically and good, but they haven't been on Wikidata for very long. They're just doing it from Swedish Wikipedia. And for them, I would also like just be able to say this user, hey, mark them as patrolled, or even nominate them to being an auto patrol user.
Mm.
So, for example, when I don't know exactly the rules, do you know, Jan, when you become auto patrol?
No, but I could imagine they could be fairly high on Wikidata because you make so many edits anyway.
Yeah. So yeah, and I think it's also this. It's a time limit. You need to be active for a certain number of days. Because when John and I do edits on Wikidata, they aren't like unpatrolled. Someone does not need to patrol it because we are already auto patrolled users or um, users that people are already familiar with. But I'm gonna mark all of this as valid as long as they got all of this subclass of. However, this subclass of mutual insurance, the type of business is not a subclass of mutual insurance.
No,
But let's
that
see.
would be rather like what they're working with, like their
Oh no.
field of work.
Actually, mutual insurance here is actually a type of company.
Aha, just a confusing label in English,
Indeed.
or
So
might not be confusing for native English speakers, but confusing for us.
indeed. But I recognize here, like I think this is a Finnish identifier,
Mm-hmm.
and it says a things in Finnish here. So I wonder, is this IP around here as well? And maybe no. No, this seems to be an established item. Okay. Then I'm gonna consider this item patrolled. It's just unfamiliar with us. This is a municip- municipality, a type of municipality, or a type of. Hmm,
Mm-hmm.
it's not completely clear to me, but if it's an authority part of a municipality or if it's a combined municipality authority. But again, it has
Yeah,
all of the correct information here.
yeah. I think these might be correct. We have some legal entities in Sweden as well, where a number of municipality goes together and create something new,
Yeah.
and it has a very specific status. So it could be
Okay.
that one in Finland.
So I'm gonna move on from those iPad addresses. Again, I would really enjoy a feature where I could just say, "Hey, this looks okay." But I see a new IP here, so I'm gonna have a look at that one. I'm really hoping to show this one is good. Rather than just doing it like this, I'm hoping to. This is how I normally do. I try to keep track of which one I have seen, and
Mm-hmm.
then I just go that one by one. But something I would like to see. Let's see here. I'm actually might pretend to see it. So if I go to an item like this, let's say I have found an item that someone has just created, and it's clearly spam of some kind. It's some IP creating a item about probably themselves, linking to their social media where they are followed by 100 people and not more, and they're trying to promote themselves somehow. Then I usually click on more and click request deletion. If I click this, it will give me a pop-up. I'm not gonna do it for this one because this is a completely acceptable item and just an example. And this gives me a bit of a pop-up where I can say why it should be deleted, like it doesn't meet the requirements for notability in Wikidata, for example. I can write in there. And by default, you do not have this request deletion button here. you need to again head over to your preferences and head over to gadgets and check request deletion. Add this script adds a link at the top of each item with a link for quickly requesting a deletion on Wikidata request for deletion. We should rephrase that, but yeah. So it got a page here where you could actually manually request the item for deletion. Let's see if Wikidata is quick today. So you can add a new request here, but this button essentially does the same thing, but you never need to leave the item to begin with. So that's also not a great thing when you're patrolling because you will run into like newly created items which should just be gone. Let's see. I want to do. Here's an interesting one. We see a description removal. So that one I want to have a look at. I'm gonna cherry pick this again. I want to again a description removal. I want to see that. So let's see here. This has it's a Swedish term for branch page directly translated, but it is Wikimedia disambiguation page, and I don't see why this should be removed. Maybe because it isn't one on Swedish Wikipedia. That's not Swedish Wikipedia. We don't
don't
have
even
it
have
in
one.
Swedish on Wikipedia. Therefore, no, this should be undone. It
Yeah.
is a branch page. And again, edit by a IP address, which just removed something. I'm not adding a reason why. Here's the same thing. This, however, is an interesting one.
That one seems correct though.
Exactly, this one's incorrect. So, at least at the time of this edit, we need to remember that we are at this the difference page. But we see that hey, this is new branch page. It just doesn't have a description. But when we look here, it got an instance of group of humans, a country, Germany, location, West Berlin, and it doesn't have a Wikipedia page, most of all.
Yeah.
So it can't be a branch page like that. So I'm gonna go to the view history here to see what's going on. Has someone removed the pages? I see like removed claim from an IP address. Um, and political alignment. I see someone has been on this item, so to say, doing a lot of edits. Which is very interesting. So I'm gonna click on the item. What does it look like today? And it's an organization which gives me a warning. Movement is not a valid qualifier. Okay, that's a detail, so to say. And we can see that this is almost completely different. So this IP, which had removed a bunch of stuff, has been reverted here by someone. It very much seems like. Let's see. Edit. Here we go. No, I can't see that
No,
someone
I
reverted
think
it.
that it was actually improved from being a group of humans to organization. So that was we came into this some sort of mid.
Yeah, indeed. We were in the middle of something. I'm gonna
Yeah.
use the compare feature. So I
Yep.
just selected one. I don't know if the first one, but it doesn't really matter. But then I'm gonna click compare here and see what actually happened. We see the German label, the description being a better description, the English description being a better description. Ukrainian I do not read. Group of human. Yeah, it seems like someone did indeed improve it. So that is completely okay. Let's see if I can find my way back
To the thing to patrol.
to the thing to patrol. Indeed. One more, I think. No, two more. There we go. So someone remove this, and I'm gonna mark that as patrol. Okay, I'm gonna do one more before I end for the day. I'm not again. Usually I do not scroll at random here, but I see a add description here from an IP which has done a lot of edits. So it's kind of for me to do later on. Is this a good IP or a bad one, so to say? So we're gonna have a look at a random example here.
We do get a request here to undo with edits summary all the time. I don't agree with that all the time.
No, not
I
me
think
either.
it's many times it's a waste of time because it's so obvious what and why you're doing it. But
Yeah,
often it could help.
it takes up time, and we can have a look at like the statistics for patrolling in just a moment because I think it's relevant. This is one of those cases where I saw this IP a lot, but what the person is actually doing is just add descriptions to probably just locations. And this is one of those cases where I would like to, hello, between this and this time, this IP just did good things. So I'm gonna mark this as patrolled because that's indeed a very good description of this location. Okay, and I want to head over actually to statistics and go to top patrollers because I actually just want to go to, is it the start page? It might be the start page. Yes, because we can actually see on the start page of this Wikidata patrol dashboard that there is a very little bit of Wikidata actually being patrolled. Today we are at 2.4% of the revisions. And that just shows that more people need to engage on this and like help out to do a bit of patrolling every now and then. And I actually believe that there is a lot of simple because, for example, this is the type of thing you can kind of easily do on while sitting on a bus or something like this. Just open up this Wikidata patrol dashboard and do a bit of patrolling when you got nothing else to do. And that's also one of the reasons, like long term, why I do not always fill a description because it's often obvious from the edit that I'm reverting spam or that type of issue, and it just adds to like the effort, which make as a result I would do less patrolling. So that's why I'm not always doing it. Maybe I should get a user script of some kind which like had a default thing um, that said maybe just as simple as spam or something like this.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure that it would always be a good thing to have a default value like that.
I've seen people doing patrolling on English Wikipedia where they have the tool Twinkle, which does a lot of things. It would be nice, perhaps it already is, and I don't know it, if Twinkle was useful on Wikidata.
Yeah, yeah,
That might be worth looking into.
yeah. And I imagine like we could get this number up from 2.4% if we just had better tooling and such things as well. So it's good that we have a discussion about this, I believe. And I think that what was I wanted to add
All
for the
right.
day.
And I'm sorry for being confused in the beginning. I realized I made two mistakes at the same time. So one, I started the Telegram video chat in the wrong way. There's two buttons and I didn't do the same as I did when I tried it out this morning. I did something else. I should have done the same. So now I know which button to use. The second one was I actually had a hidden tab with the YouTube live stream in the background. So even when I muted the audio on Telegram, I heard myself in the YouTube. So that was why I was so confused. Yeah.
And I'm gonna bring up yet another tip.
Yep.
Patrol revision.js is also interesting. Indicates that the item has unreviewed modification and allows you to mark an entire page as patrolled. And I make not only a mental note about this, I will make a real note about this and see if we can try this out in a future episode when we
Yeah.
might get back to patrolling.
Yes.
Because this seems incredibly useful.
And also with this semi-successful test, we will also try, I guess, if you rather would like to watch on Telegram next time, we will try to do that. And then I will also do some marketing with the link so you can find your way there. So right now I'm the only viewer in there, so no one else will hear this. Yeah. And I also I forgot to say, while looking at the watch lists, let me see if I can share my screen again here. So one of the reasons that we're using the Wikidata lists for helping us with the watch list is that we get otherwise too many irrelevant notes, and there's a issue being worked on. But if you would like to follow this work going along, this is the issue to watch. And I would really like to see some improvements here, because using the client-side watch list for Wikidata items, it shows more than you want. So that's a little bit of lobbying from my side here.
Indeed. It's just one of those aspects of Wikimedia or MediaWiki in general which can always be approved.
Yeah. And we will be back next week, and we will be in the middle of the Wikidata reuse days, which I think starts on Monday. So go check out that program, because there's a lot of things going on, and I think it's for full 10 days. So it starts on Monday and goes to, I think, 10 or maybe even 11 days. I think it goes to Thursday next week after that. So yeah, a lot of things going on, and I really love they're using the calendar on diff to. So a reason for you to get acquainted with the calendar, events calendar on diff.wikimedia.org. And
Indeed.
with that, perhaps, happy editing.
Happy editing.